Dicko, Nostra fans, welcome back.
How are you, Dizz?
Queenslander. How
How,
good is it?
mate, how good is it?
Oh, everyone wrote us off again.
It's a few days on, but still basking in the glory, aren't we?
Yeah. Jeez. Before we get stuck into a bit of Origin chat, let's give a shout out to our major sponsor, Gripstar Socks. If you haven't already had a look, check them out. 30% discount code we have on our socials, Nostra30. We have There's so many options. Honestly, get your Queensland socks for next year, New South Wales ones for next year if you can, pull yourself together in time. You got your Hammer socks, Reese Walsh socks, customize your own, you name it. Go for gold. Nostra 30, guys. Dicko,
Mm.
Billy Slater. Is he a genius or what?
Yeah, well, where does he sit in the pantheon of Queensland coaches? Where does he sit now?
Well, mate, we've won two series now. And we won three series under him, I believe.
Mm.
But we've won two series where, or quite frankly, you could say all three realistically, but two in particular where we were dead set, no chance. This
Mm.
year, being one, having lost game one at Suncorp to go over to Perth and then
Mm.
finish in Sydney,
Mm.
to come back and win both of those and in the emphatic style we did in game three was just nothing short of remarkable. But it was some of these key decisions that Slater made that I think just changed the complexity of the whole series.
Yeah, well, if we remember back to our analysis of the first game, and even maybe going into the first game, we were critical of some of the selections, and
Big time.
you know, and I'll put my hand up, very critical of some players that he stuck with after the first game, and some decisions that he made around some dropping some players back to the bench. Well, not I don't even think it was dropping players back to the bench. That's a harsh word. I think just for the makeup of the team, just moving players back to the bench for more impact. Uh,
Mm.
but yeah, I mean, I think I sort of said it to some people at work last night. I reckon we've sort of underestimated the ability of him, making the right decision, and how much analysis he does, at the start of the season and watching players. I mean, you had two blokes that played centre that were just absolute bolters from nowhere. I think Toya played 12 games going into a series. Shibasaki was playing Japanese rugby last year. So, and sitting in the Townsville Blackhawks,
Yeah. Train
um,
and trial deal.
train and trial at the Broncos, and he's grown another
Is he
leg.
on 80K?
Yeah, and he's grown another leg. So I don't know. Like for me, he's got to be spoken about now in the great coaches of Queensland. I don't think anyone.
Well, I'd even question, some of the selections around, bringing Papa back. You've
Mm.
got like Ruben Cotter in the second row. He was amazing in game.
Well, I mean,
And to
and,
the point where the Cowboys have named him second rower this season.
yeah. I think we've also forgotten, from the first game how poor Queensland actually played. Like there was a few players that had terrible games. Harry Grant.
And bringing Kurt Capewell back even.
That's right.
Like, all these picks that he did, dropping DCE, huge, obviously. Tom Dearden goes on to win the series and player of the match. Like, you couldn't have scripted it any better. Every call he made galvanized the group and improved the team. And is it a case of Queensland were just simply too good? Or did New South Wales make a couple of errors around maybe playing injured players?
Are you talking
Preferably
game three specifically?
Well, Laurie Daly picked and sticked, as we've quoted. Um,
I mean, I look, if you look at their team on paper without seeing a game of football, you look at their team and you think, you know what, that's probably the best 17 they could come up with, barring maybe one or two,
yeah,
you know. So in terms of, what was on paper, you can't really fault the selection of the New South Wales selectors.
yeah.
I don't think they picked their first choice centre pairing. It was the two best wingers they have. You know, the fullback, maybe you flip of the coin, but you
Do,
go with
do
the
you
incumbent.
do you think Laurie Daly is the right coach? Because I know a lot of people were, let's call it critical of New South Wales playing Penrith style footy,
Mm.
right? Do you think they actually had a proper game plan? Or Laurie Daly was like, well, I got Jerome Luai and Cleary and Yo with Dylan Edwards out the back. Boys, I'll just let you run the show. Or did
Yeah.
he come in and go, my name's Laurie Daly, we're
Mm,
New South Wales,
mm,
and we aren't Penrith.
mm.
We need to play this way to suit these players because you didn't see. I mean, obviously, I'm a Penrith fan, right? The spine itself played Penrith like, but the rest of the team didn't play Penrith like.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a believer in that Queensland. Well, not a believer. I mean, the statistics they pretty much they played a perfect game of football in the first half, right? So you
Unbelievable.
literally are playing I mean, if you look at the perfect game of rugby league in the dictionary, I guarantee you they'll just show that 40 minutes of Origin footy from Queensland, right? So
Yeah.
I don't think they allowed New South Wales to play any type of football that they wanted to. Do I think Laurie Daly's the right man? I think he's the only one that actually wants to do the job.
Yeah.
So therefore, he kind of has to be the right man. I also think he's coached at a time where Queensland have been pretty good and pretty dominant. So he's been unlucky in terms of that. But yeah, New South Wales, I don't know. They just seemed. I mean, it just seemed like when they weren't getting the game on their terms, they played like a bunch of individuals instead of a team. And we know that Origin is not about 17 names on a paper. It's
Uh-huh.
about the 1% effort areas. It's not even about talent. Like you can have so much talent, but you may not be able to translate that into an Origin, right? Because your 1%ers aren't there. So Queensland just I don't really want to say they wanted it more because I'm sure New South Wales wanted to win more than anything as well. But it
Yes.
just felt like Queensland were moving all in the one direction, whereas New South Wales weren't.
Yeah.
You know, there's a couple of key moments. You know, you look at, off the top of my head, you look at the Angus Crichton on Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow when Robert Toyer was going out and he threw the ball back in. Hammer, again, we talk about moments, and it wasn't a flashy play or anything like that. He was just there, ready. You know,
Yep.
conversely, the series last year, Jerome Luai did the same thing, make something happen, right? And Angus Crichton just stopped. He didn't even stop to the point where he was still. He just he just backed off 50% or 10% or whatever you want, and that's it. And that's all it takes, mate. That's all it
Is that
takes.
is that a case of more so Queensland always relying on the fact that they're the underdog and they know that the effort areas are where they need to win the game on because on talent alone, they probably know. Like they wouldn't be silly, and Billy would probably tell them, I reckon, that on talent alone, they're probably the inferior side.
Well, and that sort of thing. I think New South Wales think that they can thought they could win the series on talent, and
Mm.
Queensland knew that if they, and we believe this every series and every game we play. We believe that the extra effort areas are where the game's going to be won. All right,
Well,
you
let's
can't just rely on
address,
talent.
while we're on this topic, let's address the elephant in the room here, goal kicking. Because game two should have been done and dusted.
Yeah, see, I'm a bit. I sort of said this when we recorded after game two. I thought Queensland dominated game two, and actually, I didn't think they played great in the second half. So I know New South Wales scored 5 tries to 4, but I
Yep.
really think that lulled New South Wales into a sense of, into a bit of a false sense of, oh, we're okay. I don't think they played well at all in
Yep.
in the game. I thought Queensland were very poor in the second half. They tried to protect rather than play, and it allowed New South Wales to get some lucky tries. So I didn't prescribe to the fact that, oh, we scored 5 tries to 4 and all this rubbish, and the goal
Yep.
kicking let us down. I still think New South Wales were dominated in both game 2 and 3.
Yeah.
But
But
you're right. Goal kicking plays a major factor. I agree.
let's be honest though, like if you outscore the opposition 5 tries to 4, and
Yeah.
your goal kicking is rubbish, and that's essentially what the game.
Yeah.
When quite frankly, New South Wales have Lomax, Latrell Mitchell, Stephen Crichton, Nathan Cleary,
Mm,
all who can kick. Mitch Moses, but he wasn't playing obviously that game, but all of those players can kick, right?
mm.
And I think he kicked 2 from 5,
Yeah.
which is diabolical. I know the conditions were poor, but we'll go like to last week. Roosters played the Tigers, and Roosters outscored the Tigers 5 tries to 4 and lost the game by 2 points.
Goal kicking. Yeah, well, goal kicking is a massive factor, mate. You've got to turn your 4 points into six. The competition's so close in the NRL and
Yeah.
even in the big rep games. It's so close. You've got to be able to turn tries into goals into 6 points.
Well, I remember last year, Magic Round, Warriors versus Penrith. We had Dylan Edwards kicking,
Mm,
and he effectively, cost us the game
yeah,
from goal kicking.
yeah.
But are goal kickers underrated?
I think there's always been the thought that you
Like,
know
look at Warriors last year as an
yeah.
example. Like, how many games did they? I think they lost 3 or 4 games where they just couldn't kick straight.
I think we do undersell the fact that tries, 4 and 6 is such a big difference. Like you go up in sixes, it's such a big difference, ultimately over 80 minutes as opposed to going up in fours. So, yeah, I do think they're underrated a little bit. I don't think it's like a huge part. Well, I think, yeah, I'm contradicting myself, really, aren't I? I do. Yeah, I do. I think if you've got an elite goal kicker, you're sort of, you're halfway there, really.
Yeah.
You think of the best teams, like the best teams, the best four
Like
teams in the
Daryl
comp.
Halligan wasn't there for his ability, was he?
Hazem El Masri. You could,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you could potentially go down that road, yeah. But you look at the best four teams. You look at, Canterbury. Matt Burton's kicking, I think about 87 or 90%.
Yep.
You think of the Raiders. Jamal Fogarty's kicking well off the tee.
Yep.
The Warriors, Metcalf was kicking well. I don't know who kicked on the
They got
weekend. I
Tanner
missed their
Boyd.
game. Tanner Boyd kicking.
Yep.
In the Storm, Nick Meaney always, and Ryan Pappenhausen, they always kick high 87, 90%ers. And then if you look down, you got Penrith and Brisbane. They got Adam Reynolds and Nathan Cleary, who are probably the two best goal kickers in the comp.
Yep.
So, yeah, definitely the top teams have great goal kickers for sure.
Yeah. Now there's been a bit of wouldn't say toing and froing, but the top 4 are starting to get away a little bit. Penrith and Broncos are sort of nipping at their heels. 4 points is the gap. 4 points is the gap. Now we want to talk about two things.
Yep.
Is this top 4 locked in? And
Ooh.
also going towards the spoon, you now have Titans on 14, 4 teams on 16, and one on 17. And I would say that they're almost all 6 of those clubs are in the race for the spoon.
Well, this is where it's interesting because I'm looking at the ladder as we're talking here right now, and it gives you a little false sense of with the buys, right? So Brisbane are actually only one win outside the 4, even though it says they're 4 points because they've got a bye coming this weekend.
Yes.
So you're right. And Penrith are 3 wins outside of the 4. So that's a fair ground to make up. The Warriors are going to have to lose some games. And I looked at the Warriors draw yesterday, actually, and it's a very soft run home. I'm telling you.
Mm,
It's a
yeah.
it's a great
So,
run home for the Warriors, that's for sure. Um, so I think from the Bulldogs up, your top 3 are locked in. Where they finish, I've got no idea. I don't think Brisbane and Penrith are the only ones that I feel can get into the top sort of 3, but they're going to have to go on a run without dropping a game, and the others are going to have to drop a few games. Brisbane
yeah.
do play Melbourne, I think, twice.
Brisbane and Penrith have very weak runs.
Yeah, well, Brisbane
All the
play
hand.
Melbourne. Brisbane do play Melbourne um, in their run home. They play Parramatta in a couple of weeks with Mitchell Moses back. So that'll be interesting. Parramatta are a 50% better side with Moses. I'll give you the tip. All
Yeah.
right. So I expect Parramatta to come out of the race for the spoon.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I expect the Knights to finish with the wooden spoon is my early sort of guess
I
with that.
still think they'll come wooden spoon, the Knights.
The Knights, yes. I think they're
Titans have got a couple of winnable games before the end of the season. I think the Desi story, which we're gonna get to shortly. I don't know. They look all right. Like they look
if the
they're a good
Titans
side.
produce the effort that they produced on Sunday night against Brisbane, they'll win some games in the back end for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, Rabbitohs are looking very.
Yeah, massive out coming out yesterday,
Tell
and
you what,
Cody
they're lucky
Walker.
they got one more bye.
And the question has been asked. They are now. We haven't spoken about this, but I read this yesterday. They are. What are they coming? They're second last in the NRL. I think they're either last or second last in Jersey Flegg, and they're at the bottom of the table for New South Wales Cup,
Yeah,
or down the bottom four for New South Wales Cup. So Wayne Bennett, old Waney, he's come back
they're last in
as
New
their
South Wales
yeah
Cup.
as their savior, and we're just not seeing results now. You could hide behind the fact of the injuries and whatnot, but
Yeah.
this is what happens when you put your eggs in players over 32 years of age.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You're inevitably going to get injuries over a 27 round NRL season.
Well, particularly when I mean, just from an outsider looking in, every time Cody Walker, and I'm just singling out Cody Walker, every time he got injured this year, I felt like he was rushed back in every time compared to your typical how many weeks out do you need for a certain injury. Now, obviously, we don't understand the grade of that injury or whatnot. That's most of that's sort of kept internal.
Mm.
Maybe their strength and conditioning, high performance coach needs to be sacked.
Yeah.
They've had so many injuries.
Yeah.
Soft tissue.
Yeah. So there needs to be a review into that for sure. Like, I don't understand why that um, it sort of happened, whether that's just coincidence. Soft tissue. Look, Ben Hunt hasn't had any sort of soft tissue injuries leading into his career, and you get to the point and he gets a
But
soft
see
tissue
that how
injury.
Brisbane was smart though. Like rather than rushing him back and making him play 80, they took him off.
I mean, I think also South are a bit of a victim with where they are on the table. The season's getting away from them, so there is more of a sense of urgency with them as opposed to a team like the Broncos or someone else entrenched in the eight. But you know what I mean? Like, I
Mm.
just think they're. I mean, we still can't figure out what their plan was in terms of a halfback. Like,
Well, they've got a $650,000 a year player they bought from the UK who won't even get a look in.
who clearly Wayne Bennett doesn't rate. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. Like, South, I think, it'd be interesting to see how they go. Like, they've got Alex Johnson's try scoring record coming up, so they should get up for a few games. I do think they're a difficult team to play against when Latrell is in the team.
I'm a bit worried because Penrith play them this weekend.
I just think they're a difficult team, yeah, to play against, and they can spring a few upsets.
They've got a relatively cruisy draw as well. I mean, they've got Penrith and the Sharks, Broncos, but then they finish with Titans, Eels, Dragons, Roosters. Like they're all very winnable games.
Yep.
Um, yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I think it's great because in previous years gone by, it's sort of been Melbourne and Penrith at the top, and then
And then see who.
top eight's pretty clear cut, and the teams at the bottom are just garbage, and everywhere else is sort of in between, inconsistent.
Well, the other thing too is that I think, I mean, this is a massive call because it's never been done.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is the year. It's that close that if you don't finish in the four, that's okay. You could win the
Mm.
comp from outside the top four.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. And it's going to be really interesting who makes that four. I don't, sorry, the top eight, because the four's pretty much like they're going to be in the top eight, right?
Mm.
And you'd think that the Broncos and Penrith finish in the top eight now, based on where they're sitting and
Yep.
their home.
Yep.
But the Seagulls, the Roosters, the Sharks, the Dolphins, the Dragons, all have a legitimate sniff of making the eight. I'm going to leave the Cowboys out. I don't think they've got the team to get the.
I will put an asterisk on the Cowboys. If the Cowboys can get it done on what is it, Thursday night against the Dolphins, they're a
Yeah.
chance. They lose against the Dolphins on Thursday night, I think you can put a line through them.
Mind you, with the inconsistency of the draw or of the results, they do have the Dragons, then they've got the Sharks, Eels, Knights, Tigers,
Mm.
Broncos, and then they actually get a bye to finish the year.
Who's that? Cowboys.
Yeah. So
Well,
there's
that
another 2 points at the back end.
round 27 bye.
Yeah.
That's an early Mad Monday
Imagine
for the
that.
boys.
Imagine
Early
getting in
Mad
on the
Monday for the
bye.
boys.
Well, imagine getting in the eight on a bye or sweating on results, even though you're guaranteed 2 points from the bye.
You're kidding. How good
Oh,
would
you know
that be?
what? Let's call it now. I can see this happening. I can see them getting in the eight on the basis of the bye and
Yeah.
teams having to win to overleap them. Because their point differential's a joke. Let's be honest. Their
Yep.
point differential is nearly as bad as the Titans. That's how bad they're going.
Yeah. Yep.
They got
Yep.
the worst defense in the comp. And to put that in perspective, they only conceded 12 points last week, and they've still got the worst defensive in the comp.
Okay. Yep.
So yeah, they're in a diabolical situation
Hmm.
in terms of point differential. So they need to get in on points because
Well, that's right. Yeah, they need to have a great run home, really, don't they?
now we were talking about Des Hasler before on the Titans. It looks like there's going to be a bit of a coaching merry-go-round.
I just don't understand the whole situation there, With I just the chat coming out of the Gold Coast is 1 minute he's lost the dressing room.
Well, is this an
I don't.
organisational thing? Because both the Knights and the Titans, seriously, they've both come out. Well, it's pretty known now that Adam O'Brien's not going to be there next year, and neither is Desi. And it's been announced with 7 rounds to go. And apparently both of them are just going to keep coaching. Like, what's the point? Is it so
Yeah,
that
I
they
don't.
pay him out? Or
Well, there must be a big payout for both
well,
of
there's
them. You would
obviously
think.
they know they're not going to make it, but the contract says this. So legally, they've got to stay for the rest of the season.
But doesn't I thought we knew that Hasler's his contract had that top eight clause that they could get out without a payout or whatever.
Yeah, well, mathematically they can still make it, right?
Yeah.
But who knows? What's I guess it begs the question. He obviously hasn't done anything wrong, as in he may have lost the dressing shed and may be underperforming, but he hasn't done anything necessarily wrong as
Yeah.
such. But respectfully, from what I'm hearing, they want to just let him finish out the season and actually celebrate his coaching career because it has been a successful one, as opposed to sort of going out. It could be similar to Kevy Walters' situation. Maybe the Broncos knew that they didn't want Kevy with 6 or 7 rounds to go last year and gave him the benefit of the doubt. I wouldn't call it respectful, but
Well, let's just ask the question, right? Let's just sit here and sort of ask the question: what is sacking Des Hasler? What is that going to solve for the Titans? What's it going to solve? What's
well, I
sacking
don't
another
think.
coach going to solve?
And to be honest with you, I'm quite, I'm quite frustrated with the media in particular as a result of poor performances. It's always placed on one of two people, the halfback or the coach
Mm.
in every team, right?
Hmm.
A couple of weeks ago, people were saying, oh, Michael Maguire's, is he the right guy for the Broncos? Now, all of a sudden, Michael Maguire's getting interviewed as if he's the greatest gift of God. Like, in 2 weeks, Nathan Cleary gets basically pummeled by the media, albeit poor performance, comes out on the weekend and everyone's talking about 5P. Like,
Yeah.
seriously, within the space of 4 days. Like, it's just outrageous.
I just
But to answer your question, I don't think Adam O'Brien or Des Hasler are at fault for the Knights and Titans performance.
I'm just going to talk about Des Hasler here for a sec because I actually don't agree with the Adam O'Brien one. But Des
Yep.
Hasler, I don't. If you look over their last, few coaches, the Gold Coast, are they a better team or a worse team than what they are now? I don't think they've improved or necessarily got worse with this.
I
So
actually think their roster's better now.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, it's to me, that's not the coach because the coach
Yeah.
is, if you have different coaches and they don't are not worse or not better, well then clearly you have to then ask the question of the players, right?
Mm.
And the question of the players should be, is this group or ultimately the makeup of this group a group that can take us forward? And I don't,
Yeah.
we've spoken about the imbalances in the Titans roster, all right? I think again, AJ Brimson at fullback. I think that is his best position. But again, you have signed him to what 2028 or 2030 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you have arguably the best fullback, Keanu Kinney, who's injured. So then
Yeah.
what decision do you make around that?
Well, I think,
So you talk about recruitment,
yeah,
retention.
I actually definitely this is where I think the Titans are at. They've got a coach who's a bit of an old school hard nose
Mm.
with a group of players who are full of youth and flair.
Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't add up. I mean, can you see Des Hasler down at Surfers? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there needs to be, like, for instance, if the Gold Coast Titans had a coach like Andrew Webster or Cameron Ciraldo, albeit, or even Trent Barrett, like, I'll throw Trent Barrett in there.
Yeah.
I think he would do wonders for a team like the Titans because they're very much and have been for a long time now a flary team in attack that you're going to have to score at least 24 points. Otherwise, the Titans can get you. They've never been known for, resilient on their goal line or whatnot. And they don't have the players to reflect that either. Let's be
Mm.
honest.
Mm.
Like all of them are pretty flary. And to be fair, Broncos are the same
Mm.
in terms of that defensive resolve. Like they're not known to, keep teams to blot. But you need a coach that's going to instill that bit of flair. I mean, the last few weeks, you can tell that the Broncos have been allowed to play, that style of football that suits their players. It looks like Jaden Campbell on the weekend. He was like a caged lion.
Mm.
Like he wasn't doing anything. It wasn't his style of game. And once the game was actually too far gone, it was almost like the players went, "Oh, we'll stuff the game plan. Let's just do our own thing." And it actually worked.
Well, this is what I mean. Like, I don't know whether, and it's the same with Newcastle. Like, there's been
Mm.
that much of a merry-go-round between players in key positions. What is, and this definitely falls on the coach. What
Yeah.
is the game plan? What is? How do we identify Newcastle or the Titans football? What's their identity? We know what
Yeah.
Penrith's identity. We know what the Bulldogs' identity is.
Hammer him.
Bulldogs are built on defense, right? They defend. They're happy to just sit back and defend and pounce on errors. We know Melbourne. We know what their identity is. The
Yeah.
Broncos are now forming an identity. They like the flair.
Yeah.
Happy to concede points, but want to throw the footy around. We know what Canberra's identity is. What are the Titans? What are the Knights? How do they want to play their footy?
Mm.
We've got no idea because we don't know who their key position players are. You know,
I sort of feel sorry for him in the sense of, just when they're half turning a corner and getting some sort of, and to be fair, their defense is still relatively good, the Knights. I mean,
mm,
believe it or not, they've actually got, one of the best defenses in the comp. They lost Fletcher Sharp and Kalen Ponga, who are arguably their two best players, to finish this year for the rest of the season. There was talks about Dane Gago, who probably has been their best player this season, not
yep.
getting re-signed, and all of a sudden he has been re-signed.
His
Like, what
back foot.
happened there?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that Adam O'Brien leaving, and the board's gone, well, mate, you don't have a say for next year because you're custard.
Yeah. Well,
You know what I mean? Well, it's coincidental, right?
well, as I said to you before, I didn't necessarily agree. I thought Adam O'Brien and the Knights have got progressively worse under his coaching
Mm,
because I don't feel like I know what they're trying to get to. Like I
yeah.
don't. They're that far away from a premiership. It ain't funny.
Yeah. So I guess it begs the question for both of these clubs: who's the right fit as a coaching potential duo at the Titans? The Walker brothers.
Well, yeah, well, I guarantee you. Now, this will throw the abs.
There's four options, right? It's the
Well,
Walker brothers, Kevy Walters, um, Brad Arthur, and Josh Hannay. They're the four.
yeah, yeah. It depends. Okay, so the one negative about the Walker brothers, so they've got a negative and a positive, right?
Yeah.
The one negative is they haven't coached since 2019.
Hmm.
Okay, so they would be going in what I would call underdone.
Yeah.
The positive is you can be guaranteed that if they get the gig, I'm pretty sure you'll see Sam Walker on the Gold Coast.
And the flair that comes with the
Okay.
style of football they
Style
coach.
of football, their clothes. Plus, they are ingrained. They are ingrained in the Ipswich Gold Coast region. Ex Ipswich Jets coaches, played footy around there when they were young. So
Yep.
they ingrained, they understand that area. All right. So to me, that would be a great decision. But I'd be, if I was a Titan supporter, I'd be concerned about their lack of coaching since 2019.
Yep.
All right. And out of those four, I don't know. To be honest, I think Josh Hannay would be the best out of those four.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, part of me doesn't really care. It's the Titans, so
You'd think with the Knight situation as well, Jacob Arthur's there now, Matt Arthur's there. It would make sense. Brad Arthur, he's been overseas, keep the family together, go and coach your sons up in Newcastle. But I've heard that he doesn't want to coach his sons. He doesn't want to go down that path. He's seen what it can do to other people, and quite frankly, he kind of wants to avoid that situation. But for anyone who's not in the clique, on paper, you'd think Brad Arthur's going to the Knights.
yeah.
But now Anthony Griffin's sort of come into the ballpark, and you've still obviously got. I mean, Kevy Walters isn't going to coach Newcastle Knights. I can tell you that much,
Mm.
unless you know something that I don't know.
No, no, no. I've
Um,
heard nothing about that.
Josh Hannay, Anthony Griffin, and Brad Arthur are the ones for the Newcastle Knights, because obviously the Walker brothers aren't going to coach.
Mm. Yeah.
So who gets what gig?
Well, that's the $1 million question, isn't it? That's all speculation now, isn't it? Like we don't honestly know.
I'm throwing my money on Brad Arthur ends on the Gold Coast, and Josh Hannay ends up in Newcastle. When quite frankly, I think it should be the other way around.
Yeah. Okay. Well, watch this space because I think we can definitely see that the Newcastle will have a new coach next season.
Let's throw in the Aussie job. Apparently, Kevy Walters might be the front runner for that gig now.
Well, I think he should be personally.
Is it going to be Cam Smith?
I think it should be him or Cam Smith, or him and Cam Smith as an assistant coach, something like that.
I was just thinking the same thing. I
Yeah, something
reckon,
like that.
regardless of whether Cam Smith or Kevy gets the job, I think the other person will be the assistant.
Yeah, yeah, same, same. I'm happy with either one, to be honest.
Which makes no
As an
sense to
Australian.
me, because if they appoint Kevy and then Cam's the assistant coach, they could have just gone with Cam. And
Yeah, yeah, but Cam maybe just a little bit experience in terms of in the coach, a little bit more experience. Kevy will want a head coaching gig, like he wants to coach another NRL club. So
yeah,
it'll just be a stopgap until he maybe gets another gig.
what I don't want to see is I don't want to see this in weirdly as opposed to players. I don't want to see this drag out. I want to see the Knights board go, Adam O'Brien, we're going to give you to the end of the season, mate, but you're gone.
Well, you're right. And there's two elephants in the room. The Dylan Brown contract that was negotiated by Adam O'Brien, which we've spoken about previously, is
Well, that's another connection to Brad Arthur, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So, and then you've got the Kalen Ponga, which is the massive elephant in the room, currently being shopped by some sort of agent to European rugby clubs and whatever else.
Yeah.
So they're the two elephant in the rooms. What sort of impact does a coach sacking have on those two recruitment/retention issues? Now, just while we've been talking, Diz, I've been doing a ladder predictor.
Yeah.
I don't generally buy into these ladder predictors because it's purely just on what I think, and I'm actually disgusted with how this has come up, to be honest with you.
Feed it. Feed it to the fans.
Well, my just prediction on Newcastle coming last, I have found they are the spoon on my little ladder predictor, and I didn't actually try and make them the spoon, but
Yep.
they've won the spoon. I've got Melbourne finishing with the minor premiership, one win over the Raiders,
Wow. Okay.
the Bulldogs in third. And
Yep.
again, much to my disgust, I've got somehow the Broncos have found their way into fourth. I think I'm hoping more than anything there, but I do think they'll finish around fourth, fifth, or sixth. All right. Somehow the Sharks have found their way to fifth. All right. This is disgust. You're going to hate this, but I love
This
it.
is feral.
I've got the Warriors on the same amount of points as the Sharks in sixth. The Roosters have ended up in seventh, and the Panthers have ended up in eighth.
I have no idea how you've done that. You must have put Penrith to win, to lose against Canberra, lose against Bulldogs, and lose against Storm.
I have, yeah.
That's the only way you've done it.
Yeah. So I've tipped them to, and that, you know what? But you know what?
It could happen.
It could happen. That literally could happen. But it could also happen that they could win those three games.
And you probably put Broncos to beat the Storm twice.
No, I've actually had Broncos to lose to the Storm twice in that little ladder predictor because we don't generally play well against the Storm. So
Jesus, how many games you got the Warriors losing?
a lot.
Every game for the rest of the year. Hey, we're about to get into our prediction, so let's hold that thought because I'm about to give a couple of curly ones,
All right.
and they're going to come off.
Let's
All
hear
right,
it.
let's get stuck straight into them. Round 20, Dolphins versus Cowboys. We emphasised how important this game is for both clubs, realistically. Hammer comes back. What combination the Cowboys going to go with? Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't know if this Purdue in the 6 role is working. And it needs to change. Otherwise, they're going to lose a lot more games. Like, it's almost season defining, that move. I think they're 1-5 with Purdue at 6 and 4-5 with Clifford at 6.
Yep. Okay.
So,
I think Clifford was injured on the weekend.
Yeah,
I'm
he
pretty
was.
sure. Yeah. Okay.
Can the Dolphins win? They still don't have Nicarima. I'm not a big fan of O'Sullivan. I'm not going to lie to you. Defensively, I think he's quite weak.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised they didn't play. Maybe that was just because the Hammer. Did Trey Fuller play fullback, or did they go with?
No, they in the press conference, Christian Wolf basically said, "Look, it was his first game. I don't think he's even played Q Cup."
So they moved what's his name to fullback, did they?
Avarillo.
Yeah. So what I would expect this week when the Hammer comes back, I'd expect Avarillo to maybe move into the 6.
Ooh, that's a good one. I rate that actually.
Yeah, is what I would expect.
Well, I think he's better in attack and defense than O'Sullivan.
That's right. He's got a very good running game, and
Yeah,
O'Sullivan's more structured. So yeah, I would expect that.
Yeah, they don't really need that now with the emergence of Katoa. But does that mean, well, honestly, this game could go either way.
Yeah, massive crowd at Suncorp. It'll be. So
Tuiaki got injured as well. So now Oren Keeley and Connolly Lumelu will be the edges. And I don't think Max Plather's still back.
Yeah, so this is where I've had question marks over the Dolphins in terms of when we get to this stage of the season, when the injuries and players start to get niggles and you got to rely on a bit of depth. You got players coming in and out. This is where my question marks on the Dolphins come. I still think they've got enough strike to get this job done on the weekend.
The Cowboys don't have exactly a threatening forward pack, do they?
No, and I think it's the same with the Cowboys. I don't know.
This could be a 36-32 job.
Yeah, I think the Dolphins will win, but it'll be close. It'll be
Yeah,
close.
I agree. I'm going to lock in the Dolphins in a shootout.
Yep.
Lock it in. It'll be an exciting game of footy for Thursday night.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, great start to the round.
Now Sharks versus Chooks. Oh, geez. It's at Shark Park. And let me just come out and say it. Nico Hines, well done. Well done.
You've only been bagging him for
The
18
tone was
months.
set in the first minute. He
Uh,
ran the footy. He had a dig for the full 80. He didn't shy away from nothing. And look what happens. Just pin the ears back, son, and have a go every week. Don't
he's a
worry about what everyone says.
mate.
Just
We've been
get
saying
stuck
it. He's a
in.
runner. He's a runner of the footy. Just
He's not a seven. And quite frankly, just take the seven off his back. Give it to Tricky. He's already doing it anyway.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. I like the Sharks. I think they've got a bit left in them for the
Mm.
rest of the season.
I wasn't that convinced on the Chooks. That they beat the Dragons, but
I mean,
gee,
Sam Walker's a big in. They're a much better team with Sam Walker. I yeah. This one's at Shark Park, is it?
yeah. It's an early kickoff, 6 p.m. at Shark Park.
I think it's a flip of the coin job, and I'd just fall on the Sharks purely because it's at home.
Yeah. Honestly, this is tough.
But this could be this could literally go either way.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the back lines, you look at the halves, you look at the forward packs. It's honestly so even. This matchup. I'm gonna do a molly. I'm gonna call a golden point on this
I could see
Friday
it.
night footy,
Yeah, I could see it.
and I can see Nico Hines coming in clutch. Oh, how about that for a storyline? I'm on the Nico train.
I
Let's go,
hope I
baby.
hope he's listening because you have bagged him for 18 months and now you're on the
And
bandwagon.
rightly so. He deserved every bit of that bagging, and now he deserves every bit of credit.
Yeah.
So, um, come on, Nico, get the job done, son. Penrith versus the Rabbitohs. It's at Combank, another home game for Penrith in Parramatta. Um,
Oi, oi, oi. I am not going to listen to you say this for the rest of the season. Get over it, son. Get over
hey,
it.
look, do you know what I was impressed about? We didn't play very good against the Eels on the weekend at all, and we ran away with it in the end. And for the first time this season, I actually feel confident about their chances this year. That was the first time where I went, you know what? I think that if a team's going to beat us before the end of the season, they'd want to be very, very, very good.
Well, well,
But
I
I
think
don't think we're going to roll over.
I think we can agree they're not going to beat themselves, right? Okay.
Yeah. I think they're back in the groove.
T-
And the
t-
Rabbitohs are not in a groove.
Can they win? Can they win the comp, Penrith? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't. There's an asterisk over that. I mean, I think
If they get in the four, yes.
I need to see more, a little bit more from them. I'm not necessarily convinced as what some people are because they've had a bit of a Origin has been kind with some buys and some teams they've come up against, although they've missed their Origin players.
Well, I'm in the same boat as the last couple of years, mate. They never really played that good of footy last year or the year before.
Yeah, so I'm a bit of a watch on them. This game this weekend, I'm not going to tip against them. I will be tipping Penrith, and I think they'll win. But
Latrell's back.
I think we underline this game as a bit of a danger game.
Mm. Yeah, I agree. If there's any game in this stretch of, reasonably easy run for Penrith, that's going to be tough. I think it'll be this one.
Yeah, and I think I also I know you're right, and I think that if they're gonna drop a game because they'll be a little bit under the sort of
Well, they've got a 5-day turnaround because they
yeah
play on Sunday. This is Friday night. Not just for the Origin players, because they got rested, but I don't think To'o even plays.
yeah. So this is a definite danger game, definite danger game for them. I'm not going to tip against them, but I do think if they were to drop one, it could be this game, as in like a bit of an upset. But I can't see it happening, but I think it'll be closer than what people think. Souths have generally troubled Penrith.
Um, yeah, look, I don't know. I think it's closer than
I'm not confident enough to tip against them, as I said.
the odds are high. The odds are real high.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to win. Like the Rabbitohs, I don't think are going to win. But I could see it being like, let's say 26-14, something like that.
What I would be concerned about Penrith, you've the backup after the Origin 3 with their New South Wales players. Clearly, they
Yeah,
were up for the game on the weekend, right? Because
yeah,
they wanted to put in a performance after that effort on the Wednesday night.
yeah. Like Western Derby as well.
Yeah, so the come down maybe off that. It
Yeah,
might be if the Rabbitohs, can play well and
yeah.
stick with them long enough, they may just be able to sneak a victory here. But
It,
I doubt it.
it's one of those games that could go either way, right? They could easily come out and win 40-10.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but I do. If I woke up not watching the game the next day and I saw the Rabbitohs win, 16-14 or something, I'll go, okay, well, I'm not necessarily surprised by that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, Raiders versus the Eels. I'll tell you what, do you know what? I was actually impressed by the Eels against Penrith. I think Iongi,
Oh, how good is he? He's
he
got to
is
win
the
Rookie of the Year.
superstar of the future.
He's Rookie of the Year.
And they were a bit harshly done. Like the scoreline was 32-10, but it wasn't a 32-10 game.
No, yeah, I definitely think the
In
scoreline
fact,
started Penrith at the end.
Lomax doesn't drop the ball and they go ahead.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, Iongi, absolute superstar. It'll be interesting to see
like
whether
Canberra
Mitch.
coming off a bye.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether Mitch Moses is named. I feel like he might be touch and go for this weekend.
Yeah, yeah. This week or the week after.
I think.
Hudson Young's a watch because he's got that osteitis pubis. Is he going to have the same level of impact? And do you know what? Okay, the Raiders have been great. Right, they've been great. But have they put away a team yet?
Don't need to. What do they need to?
Well, I think they need to do a statement game. Like they can't just keep winning ugly every week.
Why not?
They're not going to
They've
win the
been,
premiership.
mate, they've been doing it for 19 rounds. Why can't they?
Oh, I suppose Penrith did that last year.
Um, yeah, this is actually a tough game to tip. Where is this game?
Well, I can't tip the Eels, but if the Eels came out and kept this close or won, I'd be like,
Where
yeah,
is this game? Where
it's
is it?
at GI. It's in
Yeah,
Canberra.
you can't. You can't. I mean, it'd be -3 degrees, potentially snowing. You've got to tip the
Let's
Raiders
have a look at the weather down in the
down in the nation's capital.
capital. Well, it's 7 degrees there now. It's actually going to be not -1. Beautiful. At night time there, so it might be 6 degrees to come kickoff.
Yeah, fair.
Um, yeah, lock in the Raiders just. Uh Dogs and Dragons. Now this will be spicy. Kyle Flanagan against his old club. Dragons sort of, yeah, mixed results, but not getting flogged. Bulldogs not very convincing over the last few weeks. I think they've hit a bit of a flat spot. Do you think that's a case of, and I'm just spitballing here, have the Bulldogs gone through this mini preseason like a lot of other clubs do? Or are they just flatlining?
Mate, what did I say a couple of weeks ago? They've to save their season, the call's got to be made right now. Right now.
Yeah.
You either make Lachlan Galvin the
I'm
halfback.
hearing he's going to get named 7 today.
Well, that's what I mean. You either make him the 7, which has the potential then to completely ruin it,
Yeah.
or you leave him out for the rest of the season and he plays New South Wales Cup. That's the call
Absolutely.
that's got to be made. That's the call that's got. It's as simple as that. You're literally your premiership chances hinge on the way you handle this.
Yes.
And that's all I'm going to say because I think they've shot themselves in the foot.
Yep. Yep.
That's what I think. I think this will be close. I can see golden point here.
Golden point.
I can see a golden point here.
And who's going to kick the field goal? Kyle
Kyle
Flanagan?
Flanagan. Let's give it to Kyle. Come on, son.
Yeah, good. You know what I'm going to say?
What?
I'm going to say Lockie Galvin scores the winning try in the last 5 minutes.
You are kidding
There you
yourself.
go.
You are kidding
There
yourself.
you go. We
I'll
love
tell you what, though, that if Seraldo does pick Galvin at 7, if I'm Toby Sexton, I'm packing my locker up and heading over on the next flight to England because I would be
Grant.
fuming.
Get over there
Or
now.
wherever he is.
Hard name.
I'd honestly be fuming. I'd be fuming if I was him.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if Lockie Galvin gets dropped and Sexton goes in a dummy half?
Reed Marnie. Get up to North Queensland, son.
Oh dear. I can
Yeah.
see it happening. Actually, do you know what? Going back a little bit before we go on to the next game, Dylan Brown was actually offered to leave the club before June 30, and he said no.
Yeah.
So Riles actually said, well, look, mate, you might not be part of my 17.
Yeah, I applaud that from Jason Riles. I mean, clearly, they need to play some players. I applaud it. It's
Yeah.
good.
Oh, Jesus. How about the next game? Storm versus Manly, the Battle of Brookie down in Melbourne. This game, I can see the Manly Seagulls pulling a rabbit out of the hat.
You are kidding.
I know the Storm got their players back. Is there a bit of a potentially grieving hangover from Munster? Is he, ready to get stuck in for the rest of the season? Does he even play?
So,
Um,
what
the
what
Storm
I
haven't been very convincing.
what I will say about this, I'm not going to agree with you, but
Mm.
if it was in Manly, I definitely see where you're coming from. But
Yeah.
Storm just too strong at home. Too
Yeah,
strong.
I know. Well, is Pappy going to be injured again?
I
Like,
I
it's so many
don't.
question marks.
Meany's playing that well at fullback. I don't think it makes a
He's
difference.
been good. He's
Yeah,
been very good. I'm tipping the Storm,
yeah,
but
you got to tip the Storm.
I don't know, this turbo at center's working. It's actually working.
Mm.
And
Oh, I
the
forgot about
ad
that.
the ad lib footy that
Stop,
Manly play
stop
doesn't
talking.
suit Storm.
You'll make me. What's the name? You'll make me change my tip. Stop
I
talking.
can see myself on Saturday night at home at about 7:30 going, all right, I'm changing to Manly late upset. Thank you. I can just see it happening.
Yeah.
But
No.
I can also see the Storm 30-6
Yeah.
convincing
Storm
coming.
will win by enough.
Now, the next game, now we're talking flip of the coins here. This
This is
is
Leichhardt though. This is Leichhardt Oval, mate.
mm,
This is
mm.
the spiritual home.
Will they show some spirit?
Well, I didn't
You know
think they were
what?
that bad against the
They
Warriors.
were good against the Warriors.
Yeah, I don't think they
They
were
were
that
good.
bad.
Well, I think Warriors actually played quite well.
The problem is I just don't know what Titans team they're going to get.
Yeah, that is a problem. That is a problem.
Oh. The Leichhardt factor just has the Tigers for me. Just
And
has the Tigers
Kareem Buller back is a big question.
by a bees, you know what. Just the Tigers by a bees, you know
There
what.
could be 3 golden points, mate.
Can see golden point here.
Um,
Also can see about 40 plays 42.
yeah, yeah. I think it was like that last year.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what? I'm going to lock in the Titans to win.
Okay. That's your
But
is that your upset of the week?
no.
Oh.
You're about to hear it, son. You're about to hear it. The Knights and the Warriors
You know what?
at
I'm
McDonald Domes lock in the Knights.
I'm going to lock them in too. I can
I don't
feel
know
it.
why.
Yeah, I can feel it.
I just,
Yep.
I'm not sold on the Warriors. I can't do it.
I also think too, whenever your coach is spoken about heavily,
Yeah.
you generally play a little better. And I didn't think the Knights were that bad last week.
That guy's good at fullback.
Yeah, I didn't think the Knights were that bad. So I'm
And Jackson Hastings, for crying out loud, AOB. Can you listen to us, please? We've been screaming out for it since round 1.
so lock in the Knights for me. Be interesting to see what Moley thinks here.
Oh, he would have gone
You
Knights
know,
of
the big fella's got a bit of surgery happening today. That's why he's not with us. So, you know, be interested to see his tips and his thoughts.
Well, let's hope he puts in his tips while he's still not got general anaesthetic running through his veins.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we might see a few curly ones. Oh, well, what a note to finish on. The Knights to beat the Warriors. I tell you what, the Warriors are part of the Nostra Club will be absolutely furious about that. But that's
Yeah,
it.
that's okay. That's
We'll get them
okay.
going.
That's
All good.
okay.
All right, Dicko.
All right,
That
mate.
wraps up another week, mate. Round 20 done and dusted. We're getting into the pointy end.
It's the run home, isn't it? Now it's
Oh,
the
this is huge.
you can see the finish line. You know, you want to see some really good performances
And the
by
Broncos, two
contenders.
points. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming, mate. I can sit back and enjoy this weekend. You're beauty. See you, mate.